Welcome to devotion. These are some tougher subjects. And the title of this one is Spiritual Record. The spiritual record as an RECORD. So, I'm going to try not to avoid like I did in those last couple of months because I went, oh my gosh, to the moon and back before I got to the point. But that's okay too, because it just demonstrates sometimes, how patient. I won't even say it's patience because it's almost like describing the spirit. If it has patience, it can be impatient. There's an opposite, but no, it's always open and listening with me. I know we say patience is a virtue, but it's the actual essence, the person of the spirit. Maybe we as humans can, be impatient, but the Holy Spirit, that's not the case in my experience. So, okay, I won't do that now. Let me see a devotion song. I'll do the good morning song. Good morning, Holy Spirit. Good morning. Good morning, Holy Spirit. Good morning, yeah. Good morning, Holy Spirit. Good morning. Good morning, Holy Spirit. Good morning. Yes, I'm still hoarse, leaving the fan on and everything. So the complaint I had to make due to an employer changing my time record on purpose to not pay all my hours. And I was like, Lord, Holy Spirit, I've had enough, really. Like, you do it, you handle it. I'm so not even doing this, And I even made a devotion about speaking up. So my ignoring that part of my life was like, I guess like hypocrisy. I don't know, is that the right word, a hypocrite? How can you talk about something and not live it? It should be across the board. And I was like, well, do we just pick our battles? Do we care about everything? Like, do we pursue everything? Like, really? Especially if the past has shown that speaking up really didn't have any, what is it? The desired results, maybe, that you would think would happen, when you report things. And not everyone does their job or cares. They can be in a position of authority, but I don't know. So anyways, so it came up not very long ago. I'm like, Lord, I didn't even want to look at it, but it brought it to me. How can I be authentic, honest, and even speak on things that I'm not doing? Like, okay. And being a mandated reporter as well, we are required to speak up on whatever, even suspicions, whatever we may see, we gotta report it. So if that is the case, if that's true for others, for, what I may observe in others' lives, why would I be exempt for speaking up for myself? Why would the Holy Spirit be like, no, you don't count? Yes, we do count as well. I think it wasn't so much that I didn't count, but it was more so, I don't think others are really going to do their jobs, because I have been in those situations many times where things were ignored after speaking up, but I did my part. So the Holy Spirit, I believe, will have me do my part, so I've done it. Now, if the other party doesn't do theirs, they're accountable for that. I'm not chasing them to do theirs. But my authenticity, my integrity, my honesty relies on what Cherise is supposed to do, not in what anyone else is supposed to do. And I also understand, I get it, that although there are counsels out there to ask for help, I have been on that side where hey, no, that's not my jurisdiction, or that's not me, I don't have time, or it's not worth it to me, or refer you to someone else, it's not worth it to them, or ghost you, or say, oh, this is terrible, this is wrong, and then you don't hear from them again. Or so many situations, again, the ghosting, like you have been working and then they just disappear. Like, what happened? What were you, so I understand when I hear people say, I've said my story, repeated to so many different, lawyers or attorneys, and nothing has happened, and I'm exhausted and I'm done, and they really just kind of give up. I get that. I really, really do. But looking back over my life, over my journey, even my devotions, it's the Holy Spirit that stays, that sticks, that I can attest to. That's there late in the midnight hour, all the time. So going back to the spiritual record, I did have to speak up. Like, you know what, Spirit, you're bringing it to me to say something, to file a complaint. I have to file a complaint now that, yes, they did. I believe it's called wage theft. And an attorney even said that, hey, that was wage, but then they just ghost you, they disappear. But anyways, I had to speak up, file a complaint. And apart from the theft, the retaliation of unassigning me from work that I had. I show up, I clock in, and then I find out someone else is coming. Like, oh yeah, they're coming. I'm like, what? But I'm here. No one told me. Okay. So when I spoke up about it originally to the company, like, hey, I didn't get, I was taken off. Like, okay. So part of the complaint was retaliation, being unassigned from things. But the resolution was, I spoke to them. They gave you your pay or whatever for Finally, a month later, I got it after I complained. But they withheld it, and they unassigned me. They took other work away. But nothing was done about that. So the only concern, I'm like, Holy Spirit, what was it? Just money? And that's it? Well, you got this, but there was a lot more done. And I've seen that in other situations where it's immoral what has happened. And I'm sure under certain terms it's also, whatever. But is it worth someone else's time to be like, you know what? Not so much. Apparently, it's not so many concerned. The principles, the morals, if it's going to take more effort or take more investigation or more whatever. But again, my record is I listened, I obeyed what the Spirit told me to do. I was going to leave it there like, oh, Lord, let it. I did my part. And I know it sounds crusty, like I did but no, in reality, it is something that I'm accountable to do. If the Spirit says, yes, I asked you to do this is between me and the Holy Spirit. Now, what someone else has not done, that is their spiritual record. Whether or not it is it's resolved in the complaint or even addressed. If the complaint is half addressed, then okay. But it's that spiritual record that I want to be clear, or to I know the Spirit is looking at, regardless of whether a person is caught or fined or whatever, pays the consequences here. I mentioned this on another devotion. It is the disappointment of the Holy Spirit that would hurt my soul if it knew that I mistreated someone or didn't do everything I could that it asked me to do. And that affects my walk, my daily walk, because I can't have a balance in my heart, in my mind, my soul, if I have not done what I'm supposed to do. If I have not listened to the Holy Spirit, how can we walk together if we're not talking? And if we're talking and speaking, then it's not off the table. Those things have to be clear. It cares about my well-being, my emotional well-being. And how can I be emotionally well if I'm avoiding, if I'm, on that river of denial, I don't want to float down the river of denial, Denial, but I want to be drinking in a living fountain. Does that make sense? From a living, yes, I want to partake from a living waters, which is, I think, how it's described, the Holy Spirit, that fountain. Let's see, time-wise, it may cut off, but I've had some pretty long ones where I had to unpack and some other stuff, but nevertheless, it's that spiritual record.